I purchased a fancy shower head over 20 years ago for our new home. I broke it, so I went looking for an alternative.
This is a Grohe branded shower head that's possibly as much as 24 years old now, and it broke recently. It broke a piece that works with a ball joint. The fingers there are broken off, and I've had a go at 3D printing a replacement. This one actually got damaged in the print. This one here was a successful print, and I've grafted it to an internal part of the shower head there. I just wanted to go through an indication of how many parts are associated with this shower head and why it was probably worth repairing. That's the shower head that blasts down. This is a cover that goes on the top of that. Here's a cover for the ball joint. These are the other half of the ball joint cover, and a piece that matches up to the wall because it sits on an angle pointing down normally. Going further forward, there are 3 screws there that attach the actual internals. You see the 3 screw holes there into attaching these 2 pieces together. This is the piece I've 3D printed, and it's currently just slid up over a piece of pipe that was part of all this. This white piece was all one piece with this, and I hacksawed that off. It had a pipe from here to there, all one piece, and I turned I had a sleeve on this 3D print to slide up over that pipe. I'll put a bit of epoxy on there before I finish assembling.
I drew this on Fusion 360. Couple of hours work by the time you piss around a bit, and then I printed a couple of samples. First one was in PETG, which was too weak, and the second one was in ABS. I printed it at 45 degrees so the layer lines didn't correspond with the stress points of the teeth.
Now these are internal parts. That's an internal plate. These are parts of the ball joint. There's a spring that holds the ball joint connection together, a rubber washer that fits around the ball. I suspect that's like a thrust washer to take the spring, to flatten out the end of the spring. This is a collar that goes around those fingers once all this stuff is assembled, to hold those fingers in around the ball. The ball fits up inside that, and it needs to spread the fingers to go in there like that. The spring goes in behind it with the sealing washer and the thrust washer, and that collar goes over the top of it there. This brass piece here is in pretty good condition. I'll see if I can pop it out of that joint again. It's got an O-ring on it and a grub screw. Now the end of that's cut to that same angle as that plastic piece, so it sits on the wall so that surface is vertical. And there's a brass collar that goes up inside there with a rubber O-ring on it. Again, it's screwed onto the 1/2-inch plumbing fitting that sticks out of the wall, so that sort of sits on the wall like that. I haven't taken the brass insert and washer off the piece in the wall. I've just not disturbed it. It's still got Teflon tape and things making that sealed to the 1/2-inch pipe. So going further with this, internally to this, it's got, I think, 4 different settings that you can adjust the different sprays. This is that with 3 lugs on it there is what you turn. This is just a cowling piece, and this starts to become part of the internals of this shower head. You can see there's nozzles around the outside of that. None of this has been cleaned up as yet. I'm going to put it in some CLR clear to dissolve some of these calcium deposits, but there's rubber or flexible material around those little nozzles on the outside there. And that's one source of shower spray, and in fact I think that's the main one we use when we're using this, is a shower spray through there, which you can get a similar result from a $20 shower head, to be honest. Here's further internals. You can see that piece has got 3 O-rings on it, and on that side, and then 2 more here. This rotates, and these nozzles line up with holes in this plate here, which distributes water to that one or water to that one, depending on how it's rotated. All of this is held in place with a screw. The screw's got a washer with a hexagon inside it, which stops the thing unscrewing when you rotate it. Now this is another nozzle choice. It's got, I think, 2 choices here. One where the water comes straight out the nozzles there, or the other one is like an aeration. There's like mesh on this ring, and the water comes directly through, or via the mesh, which aerates it a bit. Further on, there's a centre nozzle. The centre nozzle's just got 5 holes in it, and inside that there's a ball that runs around, exposing different holes at different times. The ball's blasted around by that plastic insert. The holes in it are angled to push that ball around, which exposes different or covers up different holes in that centre nozzle, so you get a sort of rotating spray when that's together like that. So there's a lot of parts associated to this shower head. It's quite complex. It was because this part here had worn out on the joint, and the fingers had broken off around there. I've got some of the bits of finger still there. You can see there's wear marks on them, and it's I'm going now that I've, I think, successfully printed a ABS socket for this joint. I'll graft that on there. First of all, I'm going to give it all a proper wash in some CLR clear to hopefully dissolve some of the calcium deposits. I'll come back once it's assembled to see what it looks like.
So that's some epoxy around the new ABS part.
I'm ready to install this shower rose. That's the brass collar that's Teflon taped to the 1/2 inch plumbing fitting. There's a groove there that the grub screw goes into, an O-ring, and it may not be clear in that picture, but there's a hole in the end there. I think there's a filter in there somewhere too to bring, or not a filter so much as a restrictor to comply. That's the shroud pushed back and the shower head in place. Ball joints semi-covered up in there. So that's water from the inner jets, or the middle jets. It's a sort of combination of middle and outer. That's mainly outer. That's the 5 centre jets operational, so look, it's working well enough.
Some blokes have got to jump around in the shower to get wet. That's not me. Get out to your shed and have some fun.